Episode 2. Go take a look in the mirror. The young nurse was cute and a little naive looking. Judging by her behavior, she'd only just graduated. She looked at him anxiously and answered, "A dose of anesthetic for my patient has gone missing. What should I do? If I can't find it, the head nurse will eat me alive. She might even fire me." "Anesthetic?" Keith asked, looking around. Something caught his attention, and he said in a low voice, "Don't move." "What?" The nurse stopped immediately and looked at him with an expression of alarm. Keith extended his hand, brushing past the nurse's ear. The young woman blushed slightly under Keith's gaze as he tore a piece of tape from the back of her shirt and held it up in front of her eyes. The tape had a small bottle attached to it. "Is this what you're looking for?" The nurse was stunned. "Yes, that's it." Keith grinned as he handed the bottle to her. "That's some talent, being able to get an anesthetic stuck to the back of your shirt." The young nurse blushed in embarrassment and took the bottle from Keith. After thanking him, she hurried off to the next ward. "Hey, I haven't asked your name yet," Keith called out to her, but she'd already left. "Ding! You have fulfilled the nurse's wish and saved her. You earn 1 wish value." The system's voice rang in his mind. Keith chuckled to himself. This is so easy. By now, Keith was in a really good mood as he set off down the corridor. He saw 2 nurses walking up to him. One of the nurses, who seemed to be in her mid-20s, looked at him with a mocking smile and asked, "Are you her boyfriend?" Keith shook his head in surprise and replied, "I don't even know her." "Why? What do you care?" The nurse sneered. "If you don't know her, then mind your own business." "Oh?" Keith furrowed his brows, figuring that these nurses had bad intentions. "I'm confused. She didn't seem dumb enough to stick a bottle of anesthetic to her own collar. It was you guys who did it, wasn't it?" The other nurse flicked her eyes over Keith and replied with disdain, "How dare you be so nosy? Look around at the people here. Do you really think someone like you has the right to meddle in our business?" Keith really did take a look around, and he realized that the surroundings were rather quiet. The department was decorated too well to be just an ordinary inpatient ward. He figured that the patients here must be either very rich or very powerful. In other words, he had got the best hospital room in the city to himself. This was a first-class facility. The officials had been too generous to him. Keith understood the situation and nodded to the nurses. "So, that's how it is. The patients here are all VIPs, right? And that young nurse is prettier than both of you. I bet she gets the attention of all the rich and important people here. I bet you're jealous of her because she gets in the way of you two seducing them." Keith gave a small laugh and went on. "That's why you want to drive around with your petty bullying, right? But I just ruined your plan, so you decided to come and mock me instead?" The first nurse sneered when she heard his words. "Pretty? Her? She's an ugly idiot." Keith laughed at the pitiful behavior of the 2 nurses. He looked around, spotting a mirror. He pointed in its direction and said, "Go take a look in the mirror. If you think she's ugly, then what does that make you?" The nurses glared at him with embarrassment in their eyes. Suddenly, a notification pinged in Keith's mind. "Ding! You have destroyed the nurse's desire to bully the young nurse. You earn 1 attribute point." "Ding!" the system continued. "You destroyed the nurse's wish to mock you. You earn 1 attribute point." By rendering the 2 nurses speechless, Keith had successfully obtained 2 more attribute points. He was too glad to care anymore, so he just laughed and continued walking down the corridor. The nurses watched as he left them behind. One of them sneered, "Who the hell is that guy?" Before she could finish her sentence, something flew right into her mouth. Keith wasn't far away when he swung a grape from the bunch in his hand and said, "Maybe you should stop worrying so much about what other people are doing. Start paying attention to your own behavior." The nurse choked on the grape in her throat. She looked from Keith to the other nurse beside her and saw her own panic mirrored in her companion's eyes. As Keith stepped into the elevator, he suddenly felt something tickle the back of his neck. He slapped his hand to the spot and crushed the mosquito. Ding! You have crushed the desire of the mosquito to suck your blood. You earn 1 attribute point. Huh? Keith thought. Really? That counts? He suddenly burst out laughing. That meant that all he had to do was kill some mosquitoes, and he could obtain as many attribute points as he wanted. But just as he had that thought, the system's voice came back. Ding dong! You can only obtain 2 attribute points per day from non-human beings. Keith laughed bitterly. Maybe this system wasn't as great as he thought after all. Over the course of that afternoon, he helped another nurse carry a sickbed to the elevator, which earned him another wish value. After he was done with that, he walked out of the inpatient building, only to realize that it was already getting dark. He wandered through the hospital gardens, and when he realized that there was no one else around, he opened his attributes panel. He'd already earned 3 free attribute points, and it was meaningless to keep going without reallocating them. After thinking for a few moments, he added 1 of the attribute points to his power score and the other 2 to dexterity. Now, his stats window read as follows. Host, Keith Sanderberg. Power, 9. Dexterity, 12. Stamina, 10. After his attribute points had been successfully distributed, he felt a current of heat flooding his body. His limbs and bones tingled with warmth, and he felt extremely comfortable. Taking a deep breath, he picked up some pebbles from the ground and began to throw them. Ding! Throwing proficiency enabled. Thud! The stone smashed accurately into the branch of a nearby tree. The branch was no thicker than a human thumb, and the impact caused it to sway. Keith was both happy and sad when he saw this. He was happy that his shots were so accurate, but at the same time, he was sad that his strength still wasn't all that great. Everyone wanted to be stronger, and Keith was no exception. Just as he was thinking of ways to add attribute points to his power, a voice called out, "Hey, Keith, is that you, Keith Sanderberg? Such a beautiful night, and here you are, playing alone in the mud." Keith frowned when he first heard the voice, but when he turned around, he was stunned. He saw a man and a woman standing before him. The man was tall and well-dressed, looked about 20 years old. The woman seemed to be around 18 or 19. She was extremely beautiful, with an elegant dress, long hair, and a sweet face. For a moment, the girl just stared at Keith awkwardly. Finally, she arranged her features into a smile and said, "Keith, long time no see." Keith felt his heart sink. He knew this beautiful girl. She was Christina, his ex-girlfriend from high school. In her junior year, Christina had broken up with Keith to date the son of one of the country's most influential business magnates. Then, with the help of her new boyfriend's wealth and influence, she had secured a place at her dream university, Harvard, one of the best schools in the entire country. The man beside her was that very same rich boyfriend, Blake Carrington. Blake's father was chairman of the multi-billion-dollar Carrington Group, and it was rumored that he had over $20 billion in property alone. Keith stared at Christina in silence. The memories of their time together were really hard on him. Under the calm expression on his face, his eyes flickered slightly. Even after saying goodbye to this girl, he still had mixed feelings in his heart. After a few moments, he nodded slightly, said hello, and turned around to leave. As Christina looked at Keith's back, her face was filled with sadness. Blake's expression darkened as he watched Keith walk away. He, Blake Carrington, heir to an empire, had initiated a conversation with this lowlife, and the idiot dared to just ignore him? Blake felt a stab of humiliation. "Wait," he called out. Keith stopped and turned around. He looked at Blake indifferently and asked in a loud voice, "What?"